So have you guys ever been in like a social like situation where you kind of want to break the ice, maybe like at a party or on a date? Well, like I have a really cool way for you guys to do that, and it's palm reading. And palm reading actually can benefit you guys in like more ways than you think. Like since we're in college, like this is a time to like find out things about yourself, find out who you are as a person, and like this is like the perfect way to do so. Not that it's backed by like science, but there are like other ways, according to Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedia, a very like well-known published encyclopedia. Your palms can actually say like things about your health. It can say like it can show like things about your diet and like more like scientific stuff like that. But we're going to discuss like more of the lines on your hands. And first, I'm going to teach you guys how to decipher your heart line. Second, I'll be discussing how to decipher your headline. And then last, I'm going to demonstrate how to decipher the lifeline. So the heart line, it can indicate like your emotional state, like who you are in a relationship, stuff like that. And there's tons and tons of variations of the heart lines. And here, if you want to go into present mode, we see, if you go view, for
Except there tab, other side.
Down.
Other side.
Oh, just click percent. That's the comment.
And here we see a heart line that's more long and it curves upwards, and this can mean that you are content with your love life. Next, we see a heart line that's more, it's more curved towards the middle finger, and that can mean that you are more selfish in relationships. And here we see one that is a little bit shorter, and that means that you aren't as interested. Next, we see one that is just short and straight, and this can mean that like romance and intimacy isn't such a huge part of your life. Next, we see a heart line that's looped downwards like this, and this can indicate that you are more vulnerable in relationships and you get like heartbroken more easily. Next, we see one that is very long and curved very upwards, and that can mean that you are good at expressing yourself emotionally, good at expressing your emotions with each other. Next, we see one that is just more straight and kind of parallel to the headline, and that can mean that you have a better handle on your emotions, you know how to like control them. And then we see one that's curvy and it is like slanted upwards, and that can mean that you maybe have a lack of serious relationships in your life, and maybe it's just more like casual. And then we see a heart line with a knot in it, and that can actually indicate that you may be going through like depression or sadness. And then here we have a heart line that you can see is like broken, and that can like indicate emotional trauma or like trauma or distress. So that's the heart line, and then next I'm gonna discuss how to decipher the headline, which is located underneath the heart line and above the lifeline. It's the one in the middle, and the headline has to do with like your like basically like intellectualism and like your brain more, like your logic and reasoning. So we can see this one here, and this short one can mean that you are more manipulated by other people, maybe a little more easily than others. The next headline we see is sloped very downwards and angled like that, and that can basically like indicate that you're more of a creative person. And next we see a headline that's completely not touching the lifeline at all, and that can show that you have maybe more of like a crave for adventure, or like you're just like enthusiastic about life. And then next we see a headline it's a little bit wavy, and this can mean that you get distracted easily. Next we see one that's very long and deep, and that can indicate that you are a clear and focused thinker. Next we have one that's just like a little bit faint, just straight out. This can mean you think very realistically, you think with your head just using your logic. Now we see one with a knot, or this, like if you have a knot or like any like breaks or like scratches in it, that can mean that maybe you have like emotional trauma. And then this one, a headline that has a break in it, that can indicate that you maybe going through like inconsistencies in your thought process, just who you are, just a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, so now that we've discussed that, we're going to talk about the lifeline. And most people think like the lifeline means how long you're going to live, and that's actually not true. It just kind of indicates like your general well-being, like your like kind of like strength and like enthusiasm for life and like yeah. So this one that runs close to your thumb, that can indicate that you don't really have as much energy and we're tired very often. The next one we see, it runs like out that way, and that can mean that you have a lot of enthusiasm. This next one is just a little bit like straight and shorter, and that just means like you don't really you're not as enthusiastic. Maybe you're just a little bit more like you need more like pushing and more prodding to like, get there, I guess. And then this one that runs in a full circle, that can mean that you you want like, I guess like adventure, and like you crave like, you need like excitement in your life kind of to just keep you going. And then this one that goes straight down, that can show, it's like a sign of vitality, because just straight across. Next we see one that has extra lines, and that can just symbolize extra vitality that you might have. And then this one with the break in it, this can show that you might have had a sudden change in your lifestyle. And now, well, hold on, turn it off right now. Now that we've talked about all three of the like lines on your hands, we're gonna we talked about the heart line, we've talked about your head line, and also your lifeline. I'm gonna demonstrate how to read an actual palm. So this palm is actually someone in this class, so a very special palm. It's Matt Taylor's palm. And here we can see that his lifeline is curved upwards, or his heart line, sorry. And that means that he has a good handle on his emotions. He can control them very easily. And then this headline, it's curved downwards, and that indicates that he's creative. And he does have extra lines on for his lifeline, so that means that he has extra vitality for his leg. So now that you've learned how to read a palm, hopefully you can use this skill and like use it on like a Tinder date, or like use it like wherever, any like social situation you want to just like break the ice with someone. And that is my speech on palm reading.